Welcome to week 1 participation assignment. This is going to be a fun one. So you will go to your assignment page and you will download this image. It will open up in Photoshop. It's a JPEG image, and we're going to use this image as a practice file to look at our brush settings. Now, brush settings are very important in Photoshop. We are going to use this brush to do a silly little assignment by colorizing this lion color by number. But you will be using all kinds of brushes in Photoshop. So right now I'm just in the simple brush. You can also press the letter B for brush. But later on you will see that we are going to use the spot healing brush or the spot brush. Here's the healing brush. We'll use the clone stamp tool, which is also a brush. We will use the eraser tool sometimes, which is also a brush, or a mixer brush, or mixer paintbrush, I believe it's called. Anyhow, there are many brushes. So whenever you click on some sort of a brush, you will see a circle. Now this circle you can make larger or smaller by going up to the brush settings up on top, and here you can make it bigger and you can make it softer and harder. The only problem is that you can't see what you're doing while you're sliding these sliders. You'll have to come back into the image and see how big is it or how small is it. So that's not a very efficient way to do this. Let me show you a better way. So here's your first introduction to quick key commands. I'm on a Mac and I'm going to hold the Control and Option key. Now if you're using a PC, you will be holding your Alt key and right clicking. So on a Mac, I'm going to hold the Control Option key. I'm going to touch or click my mouse and I will get a circle. When I'm still clicking my mouse or touching my pen to tablet, if I move over to the right, it will get large. It will get a large brush. If I move over to the left, I will get a very small brush. If I move up, I will get a very soft brush. If I move down, I will get a really hard brush. And notice I can also see the hardness in percentages that's moving in here, and the diameter size. Okay, so once you determined what brush size you want, so I'm going to get a small brush, and I'm going to actually choose a slightly harder brush, maybe like 70%. I'm going to choose a brush about this big. Now I'm going to zoom in into this particular area right here. Now I can zoom in by holding my command and the plus sign. There are many ways to zoom in. I can hold the space bar and move it down. I can also zoom in with my navigator palette over on the top if you placed it there. I can also press on the letter Z and zoom out if I move my mouse down, or whoops, or I can zoom back in if I move my mouse in a diagonal. Okay, we will go over these keys over and over again. So here I am. Okay, I'm going to colorize his mane with it will be my color number 2, and I want kind of like a brownish, a warm brown color for his mane, and we'll take a look at the opacity and flow options at that point. So I need to get the color picker. Here we have these little boxes on the bottom left. Now sometimes they will be default to black and white, sometimes they will have a color, but whatever is the front color of the box, that's the color you're going to use. That is your color picker. So if you click on the color picker, you will get the options to choose different colors. Now you have this little elevator right here. So if I'm looking for kind of a brownish tone color, I will hang out about here in the orange. Now this upper right is the brightest part of the color, so the most saturated color. If I move down here, I will get black, and there's no saturation, it's pure black. Or if I move all the way up to the left, it will be pure white, no saturation. But if I move all the way down to the bottom right, I will have a slight brownish tone. It's not pure black, it's a little brownish or yellowish. So you can And now you literally have to either click in there or click and hold your mouse and move around to get your color. So see, whatever color you get here, that is going to be your final pick. So I will choose this color and I will click OK. Now notice that my opacity is at 100%, my flow is at 100%. So if I want to colorize his mane, and I'll actually make a slightly smaller brush, I can go ahead and color, and I get the full color, and you can fully color this whole area with this brownish tone. That's pretty obvious. Okay, so here we go. So that's pure brown right there. Now if I change my opacity to, let's say, about 20 or so, okay, now I can also use my keys on my keyboard. So if I press 20, I'll get 20. If I press 3, I'll get 30. If I quickly press 3-3, I will get 33, or 3-5, I'll get 34 or 35, whatever you want. So I'll go ahead and press on 2. And so now I'm at 20%. So now I'm going to start coloring. So you see I'm coloring only at 20%. And as long as I don't, if I don't lift my pen or I don't let go of my mouse, I will get this 20%. So this is just 20%. Now as soon as I let go of my mouse and go over it again, I will get approximately another 20%. It's not exact, but approximately 20%. So you see I get this overlay. So if I keep on lifting, I will get this kind of a really weird blend. It's not very even. Do you see how it's very uneven? It's very difficult to get it to get the color to blend correctly. So that is not a good way to do this when we are trying to blend colors. Now this is going to be very important when you start masking different areas of your image. This is just a simple color by number. Okay, so what would work better is if I move my opacity back to 100, and if I change my flow to a very low number. You can use a flow of 5%. I'm going to go ahead and use 3% or 4%. There it is. And I will do the same thing. So if I'm painting, you see I'm only painting with 4% if I keep on just moving my mouse. But if I go back and forth, I'm starting to build up that color very nicely, and I have a very nice control of the shading of the color. So this is how we do very precise dodging and burning, or creating different effects with different brushes. Now I'm going to make my brush much bigger. I'm going to hold my Control Option key on a Mac, and on PC you'll hold the Alt right click, and I can colorize this much better and more evenly. Now I'm using my pen tool, so I have pressure sensitivity. So if you can barely touch my pen, you see I get a smaller brush even though my circle is really large. I can also control the sensitivity by opting into the pressure sensitivity of the pen interface, and then I can do very, very subtle smoothing and blending. So the pen is a nice tool to have, but it's not necessary. Okay, so now I can do all these kind of shading and blending. Now I can also choose a slightly different color, let's say more of a yellow color, kind of a yeah, let's go for the brighter yellow, and then I can colorize more yellows, and you see how the color blends into the browns. So you can create very nice effects. So I think you get the idea. So what I would like you to do is definitely use at least 4 different colors. So let's say I'm going to colorize his little nose. I'm going to make his little nose kind of a pinky nose, just for fun. So, and I can use a big brush because I'm using the pen tool. Otherwise, if you're using just the mouse, you will want a smaller brush, and go ahead and paint it in. Or choose a different brown color for his eyes, let's say, and let's say I want to paint it in at 100% opacity and flow. So I can move that up and I can just paint that color in. Now, if you guys make a mistake, since we're not using layers yet, you will literally be using an eraser tool to erase something. So if I click on my eraser tool right here, eraser, and again, you see it's also a brush, so I can make it much smaller. Make sure that your opacity is at 100% for the eraser. Mine was not. And maybe a harder brush. And notice I can literally erase the lines, or I can erase the color and so on. Okay, so if you make a mistake, you can go ahead and just use the eraser tool to erase the color, and then you will switch back to the brush tool, letter B, you're back in the brush tool. If you need to resample the same color, hold your Option or Alt key and you'll be able to sample that exact same color, and you can make a bigger brush and keep on painting. Okay, so try to do the best you can with the painting. I just want you to get used to the brushes and the feel of your mouse and the brush and opacity and flow. Have fun with it. And once you are completely done, what I would like you to do is save it as a JPEG. So here we go, File, Save As. Okay. And if this pops up, always save to your computer, don't save to the cloud. And in fact, you probably should click on don't show this again, but I'm going to leave this. And I'm saving to my computer, and I'm saving it to an external drive in my case. And I have a folder here called Photo 39 and Week 1 Participation. I already created this folder ahead of time, and I'm going to add the week 1, and then I will add my last name. Always add your last name so I know who these files belong to. If you want to leave the assignment name, that's fine, or the file name, that's fine, but make sure to name it with your last name. It will be saved as a JPEG file into this folder. Now, if you have an older version of Photoshop or you haven't updated to Photoshop, this interface would look a little differently here. This is a new feature that they came out with a couple of months ago. So if you not seeing it exactly like as such, you are probably seeing it more like this, where you will have an option to choose what type of file you want, JPEG, Photoshop, or whatnot. Okay. So that's kind of a new change. Some people find it quite annoying. I find it annoying, but that's what it is for now. So once again, I gotta go back to my Photo 39 participation, and there it is. It's still named correctly. I'll go ahead and save it. And go ahead and save it at a quality of 7. That will give you more compression. It'll be a smaller file and it will upload much quicker to Canvas. So the next step will be to upload this file to Canvas. I've given you a link on instructions how to upload to Canvas in the assignment, but just to make sure that the image is saved, I can navigate through my hard drive, and there it is. There's the image, and this is what you're going to upload, completely finished and colored in.